You brought up Stephanie Gordon earlier. I haven't read her books, and so I don't want to vouch for everything she said, but the times I've heard her speak, she's a prophet. I love her. And I'll say one thing. She said two things. I'm like, oh my God, this. So she, from me, at a distance, she seems to me to be someone who's very competent and very feminine and submissive.
Yes.
Like, that's why I don't like this idea that in order to be a submissive wife, it means you have to kill your personality and be weak. I don't want a weak wife. I want someone I can contend with. Like, I want someone who's competent. So does your husband. Why wouldn't you want that? Here's the point I want to say about Steph that she brought up, and I thought, gee, this was really excellent, and I'm glad she's saying this. I very rarely listen to them, but occasionally I'll click on a video or something. And she was saying, like, you go to a men's conference, and the man up on stage is saying, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, get your shit together. Be a better man. Love your wife. You're sucking at it right now. Now, men receive praise and things like that differently. So women might just all cry. I don't know how women receive it. But you go to a woman's conference, and very often it feels like, hey, ladies, and like, you just need to be more understood. You're beautiful. And her point was like, okay, yeah, sure, all that's true. But also, like, step it up and be a better wife than you are right now.
Here's the thing. Trent, I told you this story, but I'll repeat it. Trent said the other day, he was like, because him and I were talking about this. He was like, when was the last time you went to a women's conference and you heard a woman speak like that? And we both were like, we can only think of one person. That's Stephanie Gordon, actually. So got to give it to her for at least, you know.
Like, another thing that she said that totally changed my mind was when somebody says happy wife, happy life, her eyes roll back into her head and her head nearly falls off of her head.
Yeah.
Because all that says is my wife is a petulant child who I have to keep happy in order for our marriage to be good.
Yeah.
Like, she's great. Like, I haven't read her books, but the few things I've heard, I've really, really liked. But speak to that a bit. Like, where are the women who are up on stage telling you women, be a better wife? Be better at loving your husband?
Kimberly does it. Kimberly Hahn, I think, does it. And I see, like, her, I don't know their ins and outs of their marriage, but she is a more... Kimberly is a strong woman who has her own opinions on things. She runs her household very well, you know, but she's not afraid to say, like, you need to do this. You need to do that for your husband. You need it. So I think she also would do that. I just don't know that she's spoken out to it that much.
I do think women are more sensitive. Can I say that?
And I do think women are more sensitive. And depending on who you're talking to, you may make them cry.
If Trent talked to me how I talk to him, we'd be divorced. Let's just throw that out there right now. If I was like, Trent, you need to clean up this kitchen. Please clean up the kitchen. You leave it a mess every night. Like, then I'd go back and apologize and be like, I'm sorry. If he told me that, I would be in tears for 3 days. Like, we wouldn't talk. Like, you know, like, be like, that's the way you talk to me. It's not about the kitchen. It's about the way you talk to me. It's your tone. You reminded me of my dad. Let's talk about it.
So at a big women's conference, the point is you can communicate that truth, but in a way that's not...
have to be more gentle. And I don't even think it's like that they think women are incompetent. I think it's just our nature, and they probably know that.
Yeah.
Like, here we are. I still think misogynistic, but like,
well, it's kind women of, but maybe we're kind of talking to women as we thought they were 20 years ago, and we haven't moved on.
I disagree.
That's fair. Like, you're ready for it.
I think you can be a lot more direct with women.
I think this is why people love listening to you.
I think you could be direct and not mean. Like, there's a difference between, and sometimes, yes, I do come off a little too aggressive or like intimidating. I know I've had multiple women that are like, at first I was really intimidated by you, but I feel like that's happening less and less. I think women are just tougher now because of the society in which we are. We have to be. Right. And like, if we want to be women, we fight for that. We're like, no, right. I am a woman.
Because there's all these men dressing up like women and mocking you.
He is not a woman.
Yeah.
Like, I can't physically beat him in my sport.
You probably could kick Dylan Mulvaney's ass, I'm pretty sure.
But I would be I don't even know who that is because I don't keep up with all this stuff.
Good.
Where have you been?
Don't worry about it.
I don't. Anywho.
It's a dude who let me rephrase it. It's a dude who mocks women.
I know. It is so insulting to what it means. I'm like, he is not anything.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of blackface. He mocks women.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
so I'm not
analogy.
okay with that. Like, it's like you're not allowed to, and I think the majority, I'm thinking of just like my main followers and my main people that I'm interacting with, and even college students, like they're stronger women because I think you have to be. Like if something's mean said to them, I don't think they're as likely to cry. Like, there's a part on the inside that is like, oh, that really hurt. But that's only people very close to you. That's not the rest of the people. So Trent is like your best friend, and you have this amazing intimate relationship. So yes, he can say something and it'll pierce your heart. But if Matt or Thursday said the same thing to you, you'd be like, well, no, Like, I don't think, and so I think as we're talking to other
she
would
would cry, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no,
well,
that's
maybe
you,
you
right?
know
Yeah,
me.
Do you know me at all,
I would go
Cameron?
take a Xanax that I don't even have prescribed for me. Yeah, I think though also talks speak to the most beautiful aspects of what it is to be a man or a woman. So like men, it's like you shine when you're a fighter or a provider, and so it's like step up. And women shine when they're like nurturers or
It seems to me that
beautiful
like
mothers.
masculine strength. Here's what masculinity looks like: strength in the service of others. That's what's femininity.
Having babies. No, just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's part of it.
Can I see it? Being maternal is very
being maternal.
feminine.
I think I became way more maternal through, I mean, obviously this makes sense, but I became softer getting married, and I became so much softer and
beautiful.
way more maternal through having children.
But you don't have to have children to be maternal. That's not what I'm saying.
Of course.
Agreed.
But I am saying I think women are more naturally nurturing, like the nurturer, the
Yes.
heart of the home.
I think that's got to be it. So if masculinity is strength in the service of others, whatever femininity is, it's got to have to do with nurturing.
I think it also has to do with dying to ourselves. So I think we die to ourselves, and like childbirth is very much a part of this.
in
And
nurturing, though.
through nurturing, we die to ourselves, and we also say, this is my body given up for you. It's love of you, my spouse, as well as love of our children that we've had, that my body's been ripped apart, broken, bleeding. Yeah.
I think a big part of it is what feminism did is it extinguished the sexes. It said we're all equal now.
Yeah.
And I think we're now coming out of that fog. And so we're desperate.
Really, I think we're seeing the fruit of it with transgenderism.
We're seeing that. You're right.
that's true.
We're right. You're right. We're seeing the fruit of it in transgenderism, but those of us who won't go along with that program
fair.
are coming out of the fog and are now trying to reclaim
That's
what
fair.
masculinity is and what femininity is.
Yeah.
And we should expect it to look awkward until we figure that out again, because
Yes.
we didn't know. No one taught it to us.
Yeah.
And so you might have a man who thinks, well, if I have a beard, or if I look a certain way, or if I smoke so many cigars, and you might have a woman who thinks that she needs to be wearing the apron 24/7. Like, we're going to see awkward caricatures of what we used to think of as masculinity until we get it. And I think that's okay. So I love kind of giving people that room to look awkward. Like the guys who go to Latin mass with their pocket watches. Like, that's cool. That's beautiful. Do it. Like you're trying to reclaim something that was never given to you. Of course, it's going to look weird, but it's exciting to see.
But also, I feel like, though, if you don't do that, that doesn't make you a member of the opposite sex. Like, I feel like
Right.
sometimes
That's what I'm saying
people
about the
don't
awkwardness,
feel
though.
like
That's-
men. Like, I feel like sometimes, like Trent, until he did jiu-jitsu, was not into sports. He never watched football. He was a reader.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But he was just as manly.
I know he was just
This
as
is
manly.
I'm agreeing with you. This is my point, that we are grasping for that which was never explained or passed on to us. And it's that grasping may look like, well, if I don't watch sports, I'm not a man. Like, it's going to be awkward and superficial in some areas as we figure out, no. You don't have to like lower your voice an octave on YouTube to sound like to be a real man.
Yeah.
Like as a woman, you don't have to get a boob job. Like, no, we can reclaim authentic masculinity and femininity, not just the accidents of it.
And I think that's why we're seeing so many young couples that are engaged and they don't have a huge income. Like we have a tutor that works for us. She's amazing and wonderful. Her husband, I think,
She's poor as all hell.
Right? They kind of are, but like her plan is to stay at home and raise her kids. And she'll make some money by homeschooling my kids too, because she's better at it than me. But I think, there's so many, in Steubenville especially, there's so many young couples where it's like the wife, like when they get married, she's not even trying to get a job. Like she's like, well, I mean, sure, if they need another barista at the coffee shop, I'll do it. Or sure, I'll do this. But as soon as we have kids, I'm staying home.
Yeah.
Or, and I think that they see, and I feel like we had to like grow through that.
I think here's the next layer of fog a lot of women are going to move through. And that's this realization that it's enough to stay home for your husband and house, even if you don't have kids.
Yeah, that's fair. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
To serve your husband. But I did stay at home for a little while my nursing license didn't transfer. And I think it's good for certain temperaments. I get bored, and when there's less to do, I do less.
Yeah.
And whereas Trent, when there's less to do, he does more. Like his mind works, and and I think it's spiritually dangerous for me to not have a ton to do.
Yes.
And not that I fill my life with busyness, but I'm saying like I don't think it's wrong. I don't think the stats have changed for Ben Shapiro did a whole show on this the other day. And I don't think the stats have changed from non-married women working since the fall of since the revolution. The stats have changed for married women with children working.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. I don't think the stats have changed for married women without children working. I think what has changed is married women with children working. And so, So I don't think it's necessarily like, I think my temperament would.
I agree. I would not do well if we didn't have the kids.
I think it's beautiful if kids could like be a stay-at-home wife, but
there's also a difference, so I think, to saying like, okay, we got no kids, and so like you work an hour at the coffee shop and then you lead a Bible study, like you're
that's
doing
beautiful.
things. That's different to like, I have a full-time job and career.
But I think I
had a full-time job and career when Trent and I were married and we were infertile, and it also almost destroyed our marriage. Like, so I think it almost would have been more beneficial for me not to have worked during that time and then step back. But our marriage isn't flimsy. I don't want to give that off. I mean, I'm just speaking hyperbolically.
Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Would you like this beautiful, very high quality, definitely not made in China, not that there's anything wrong with that, Pints with Aquinas beer stein for free, sent to your door? Would you also like a copy of The Jill sent to your door 4 times a year? This is the Pints with Aquinas newspaper, by the way. If you do, go to mattfradd.locals.com and become an annual supporter for any amount. We'll send you that stuff for free, and you get a bunch of other free things in return. You'll get more information by going over to mattfradd.locals.com. Thanks.